said, well, when I'm with my wife at the table, at the dinner table. All right, tell me about it. What does it look like? Describe it to me. What's the conversation like? Well, we used to talk about this stuff, this stuff. How does that feel? And they'll get caught up in that feeling. And then as they flick back and get caught up in that feeling, I then say, okay, now what are we looking forward to in that game? What are we looking forward to? What are we going to anticipate in that mission? So I borrow from the past an emotion that I want, and then I flick up to the new situation. That's what I do with my daughter. If I were you. I wish I'd have done more of that. Versus trying to control her. And get louder with my voice, because as soon as you do that, they do this. Right? But if I would have prepared like I'm telling you, I would encourage you, do the flick back, flick up. Don't force yourself to get up there and feel different or be different. Imagine it in your mind and borrow emotion from past. You don't have to do the same activity. Just imagine the emotion that you want. That maybe you had in something totally different. But that's the emotion I want for this situation. Does that make sense? That's the flick back, flick up. Any area where you feel uncomfortable and you want to feel comfortable, imagine where you're most comfortable. It has nothing to do with that situation, just where you're most comfortable. Imagine that. Get caught up in it. Remember it. And all you got to do, by the way, is just kind of roll your eyes back just a little bit where you tilt them up and then close the eye. And then kind of come forward. You get kind of a sensation. That triggers you into getting into that emotion, that feeling. Once I do that, then I want to try in my mind, imagine a head. That seems so simple, doesn't it? Try it. And you watch how you can shift emotions, specific attitudes for specific situations. And again, you don't know you got limiting or debilitating emotions until you do what? Set a new goal. Set a new goal, boom, they start jumping out at you. That's where you want to know how to apply these techniques. All right. Beliefs. I told y'all this. How did I just show you?
We've forgotten it. Yeah.
When I played quarterback, I told y'all I was playing against SMU. We're #2 in the country. They're #3. We're on TV. Big game. Todd Dodge, the starting quarterback, got hurt. Second teamer goes in. First play, we're on the 35-yard line. It's 0-0, national TV, packed house in Austin. Our stadium, all I hear is, boo! I'm getting booed out of our stadium. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I want you to feel that for just a second.
Oh,
here's your chance, here's your dream, here's your aspiration, and your fans are booing you out of there. In other words, they don't like it that I'm going in there. Now, I didn't have to get up to the center. I'm right here, right?
Yeah.
First play. What do you think I did? If you know the story, don't say it. First play. Did you see it? No. You're not old enough to see it. Yeah, all right. Now, I fumbled it, but I recovered it. Second play, what do you think I did? Yeah, I did that staggered foot so I can get out of there quicker. What do you think I did? Caught it, and I fumbled again. Did you see E20 or 30 for 30 on ESPN where they did the death penalty of SMU? And when they finally got turned in for the third time, the linebacker that turned him in, that turned them in, if you watch, they showed a highlight, and there was a play, it was against Texas, and the guy went down, and there was 1,001, 1,002, and then 1,000, almost 3. He hits a guy really, really late. Does that make sense? The guy he hit was me. Oh, yeah. He hit me. He gets a 15-yard penalty. My dad keeps me in the game because I'm moving the ball. We got no first down. I'm ready now, right? Now, they better look out. I'm serious now. I'm coming now. Hit me late again. Third play, what do? I fumbled 3 in a row. My dad yanks me out of the game. I'm getting booed out of the stadium. Can you feel this?
Yes.
Todd got his head back, thank goodness. Comes back in. We ended up winning the game 10-9, by the way. But I'll never forget. Teammates, Russell Hayes didn't say it this nice. Dang, Danny.
Yeah.
Don't you want to start? Yeah, I want to start. Don't you want to be the star, scorer? Drive us in there? Yeah, I want to score. Don't you want to be on TV? Not the way I was, but yeah, I want that stuff. And that's when I didn't know it right at that moment, but what I've learned since, there's a huge difference in wanting and expecting. Make sense? It's not enough to want. You need to expect. And with some of these, couple of these techniques I'm about to give you, we can take our aspirations in our business, in our health, in our relationships, and how do you formulate them so they become an absolute, in our heart of heart, expectation in here. Most do not know how to goal set, and we've all heard of goal setting. What I want you to realize, the goal is not set until what you are aspiring to is more dominant in this image of reality stored on a subconscious level. I'll say that again. Until what you are going after is more dominant, more real in here than what you're experiencing out here, it's not set. You follow that? And I'm telling you right now, what we've learned from these guys, not me, I'm not making it up. I'm telling you what they're telling us. Until you know how to deliberately go in and set that, you're leaving it to chance. You're not coming close to using whatever we have in potential. Me neither. You don't want to do it in a casual look. So here's the quick model of how our mind works. You don't have these compartments. This is just a way of explaining it. You got a conscious process, and then you got an unconscious process, and then I break it down in two parts just to explain it. So you got the conscious, subconscious, and what we call the creative subconscious. Don't worry about my chicken scratch. When you go through an experience through your perception, that experience is stored on a subconscious level, never lost, never forgotten. Here's the catch though. When you go through an experience, you don't record the reality of the experience. You record what?
Your perception.
Your perception, your version, your interpretation of what you just went through. Not only that, what you think you felt about it and what you think others that were there felt about it. That's what gets stored on a subconscious level. And here's the deal. The subconscious is a servo mechanism. That means it accepts what you tell it literally. It doesn't have a gatekeeper that says, nah, you don't want that, that's not real. It just says, okay, it's like a funnel. Okay, whatever you pour in it, okay. That person wears me out. Okay. I just feel sick every time I go, okay. And once we get the opinion or belief, guess how we need to act? Once you get the opinion or belief on this level, how do you think you act out here?
You have to counteract it, actually.
Here's what happens. It's like cognitive dissonance. You've all heard of that, right? What's that principle? Festinger came up with it. You can't hold two opposite or conflicting beliefs at the same time in our mind without dissonance or disharmony occurring in our system. So have you ever been home and said, oh, well, I've lost my keys or I've lost my cell phone. It's nowhere to be found and I'm late. They're waiting on me. And you're looking around the house, I lost my phone, I lost my phone, I lost my phone. And then all of a sudden, someone says, well, it's on the counter right there under your nose. And you ought to be joyous and excited. You've been looking 20 minutes, right? And you're not. What do?
Oh.
Who moved it? I looked there. You're mad. If I really believed I lost it, what would make me look crazy in my mind? Finding it. So what we do is we build what we call a scotoma. You block it out to prove I'm not crazy for believing what I know is true. And right now, what do I know is true?
Yes.
I've lost it. And you have caused that blockage. I've lost it, I've lost it, I've lost it. You assimilate that, and now your physiology will now try to maintain the sanity that you've given it the task to maintain. Make sense? Versus, I'm a great finder, and I may not see it right this minute. I'm going to find it though. That's why the reticular activating system works, and that's why you get clear about what you want. You open your awareness to the opportunity. Till you need it, you don't notice it typically. So, where are you saying we always argue? Where are you saying you're always late? Where are we saying my clients are freaking crazy? The market is crazy. What would make you look crazy if that was the belief? Anything opposite. It's not worth going to that training. I'd like to, but I don't have time to. What would make you look crazy? Having time, making time. Absolutely. You see what I'm doing here? We want to get very aware of our beliefs. You weren't born with them. You've learned them. And that's why when you talk in medicine, placebos, how they'll give somebody a sugar pill, but they think it's the medicine coming from a doctor, and they get well on a sugar pill. It's the placebo effect. Well, if you can get well on a positive placebo, what do you think you can do with a negative placebo? Get sick. Absolutely. I'm going to say that here in just a second. Okay. So when you go through, you assimilate, and then once you get the opinion or belief, you act like it. So this is where all our beliefs about ourselves are in here. What we're good at, not good at, what works, what doesn't work. What we've come to expect of ourselves and others is in here. All of our attitudes are in here. All of our habit patterns are in here. All our successes, wins, losses, they're all in here. This is what we call a self-image, or what you'll hear Dr. Phil call about a self-concept. It's our opinion of self in a particular area. Once you get the opinion, you act consistently with the opinion. Make sense? Functions of the creative subconscious. There's 4. One is maintain sanity. Make the world out here match the stored reality in here. Drive and energy. Creative drive and energy. Innovative. This is what causes you at 2 in the morning to get that, "Ooh, I got it." You ever get those? Or while you're driving in the car, "Ooh, I got it." If I have time, I'll try to give you more on that. But there's a reason for those insights to come. Do you want to capture those? Keep it empty pad by the bed or recorder. Don't rationalize it. Capture the thought. That's the subconscious going to work. There's an incubation period. Once it does all its stuff and comes up with the solution, boom. It's an illumination or a bright idea that comes. Capture it. Capture it. It'll give you the solution in its entirety. And by the way, that's why I want you to follow your intuition. Intuition is truth. There's a reason for that. There's a spiritual law to that as well. That's kind of what I want to get to. All right. 3. Solve and resolve conflict, or what some call a problem. I would rather you call it a challenge. It's a different emotion when I say a challenge versus a problem. Get the point? Solve and resolve conflict. What is a conflict? When the world out here doesn't match the world in here. You got a conflict. How many of you have been to Vegas? How many of you have seen a hypnotist when they put on a show? I'm not kidding you. 20 years ago when I went, the best thing I ever saw. Now, being efficacious, you're also very skeptical. That's healthy. We're opinionated when we're efficacious. Why?
Because we cause things to change.
We know. That's right. We're causative. I didn't say positive. I say causative. So here it is. This guy takes this lady, real frail, blonde, tells her she's a beam of steel. Now, she wanted to be hypnotized. She was. They had the whole audience up there. Put her head on one chair and her feet on the other, then he stood on her. And I'm looking for those, where are the wires? That's a bunch of bull. You know, think about what happens. Now, we bypass the conscious process and we go right here. So let's just do this. Again, tell me your name.
Paul.
Paul. I'm Will McGillicuddy Henry Jr. III. And if I were to get, I'm kidding, man, I'm Dan. E. Paul, if I got you to believe, now you wouldn't do this consciously. Subconsciously, though, he'd accept it. And let's say you enable me, allow me to hypnotize you. I got you to believe this pen weighs 500 pounds. Consciously, you reject it. Subconsciously, though, you would what? Accept it. Remember, it accepts what you tell it literally. So this thing weighs 500 pounds. I said, Paul, lift this off the chair, and I'll give you $1,000. Now, he'd come up here to lift this pen, and what's going to happen? He won't be able to lift it, will he? All right. So, what would you be saying if you saw this going on? What would you be going?
Not real.
Right. If you were like me, I'd be going, hey, he's probably paying him $2,000 just to put on a show. Right? So, what they do for validity, take electrodes, attach them to his arms, his biceps, what you use for curling. He's actually stimulated, 75, 100 pounds of energy is being actually recorded, stimulated. This thing doesn't weigh a pound, but it won't come off the chair. How come? If you know the answer, don't say it. If you've heard me talk about it, don't say it. How come? I'm actually now getting data that shows he's stimulating 75 pounds of energy is being exerted. It doesn't weigh a pound, and it's not moving. Why?
Subconscious.
Keep going. Why?
His subconscious, he's telling him that he can't do it.
He can't do it because he knows what?
It weighs 500 pounds.
And he knows what about 500 pounds?
It's the truth.
He can't lift it with his arms. You're right, you're right, you're right. But now I've even got now feedback. He's registering 75 pounds of energy stimulated through the electrodes. We've now got the data. It's still not moving. Now why? Wow. Yeah, wow. This is your insight why it's difficult for most people to change.
Mind over matter.
Yes, but I'm actually getting the feedback. I'm exerting the effort. I'm trying hard. I'm busting my, ass. I'm working my rear off. I'm even moving this chair. It just won't come off.
You have wasted so much energy that there is nothing left to pick that up.
But I want to know why I'm getting 75 pounds of energy being exerted, stimulated through effort, and it still won't move. Because unbeknownst to you consciously, take electrodes, attach them to the triceps, what we use for pushing. He's pushing with at least 75 pounds of energy down for sanity. It's an isometric exercise. He's pulling for the goal. He's pushing for sanity. He just has a block to the push. He just knows he's working his butt off. Like some of us feel about our real estate business. I go to the classes, I go to the training, I go to this, I network, I call, I find the direct response, I do this, I do this. You follow this? All you do is talk about all these activities, but you're sabotaging, and unbeknownst to you consciously, you're sabotaging. Because of an opinion or a belief you got about self that you haven't taken the time to address or deliberately put in there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't care if it's your health, or your academic performance, your athleticism, or your quality of your relationships. That right there is the key, is to shift fundamentally the debilitating beliefs, and you don't even know you got them until you set new aspirations. Feel me? Good.
Can you fix us?
Where's the how?
Right.
That's what we're doing right now. So, the last one is here, we're teleological. I'll give you that later. It's just we're picture-oriented. You move towards pictures. So get clear about the visuals as much as you can. You move towards imagery, like a heat-seeking missile. Program the target, it can move, and you'll move too, just like a missile will. Seek out the target. That's being teleological. Okay? So now, once you get the opinion about self, you perceive situations, you associate. Have I seen anything like this before? Then you evaluate the probabilities based on the experiences you've got stored in here, and then you decide. So your decisions about what you do, about going or not going, or getting up and running, you perceive situations, associate, evaluate. Have I seen anything like this before? Uh-huh. What's this probably lead me to? Something good or something bad? Pain or joy? Based on that experience, I either decide to get my butt out of bed or not. I went through a divorce. That experience is stored here. It wasn't good. Not only that, kids involved. And I got full custody. The state of Washington. And I was able to leave the state. Now, you don't realize this? That's not common. You follow me? So that experience is on this level. I still am. So,
Still always fine.
I perceive a situation. I am a new person. I associate. Have I seen anyone like her before? I now start evaluating probabilities. What is this probably leading me toward, this new relationship or opportunity? So I may make a decision about a new person, not because of the new person, but because of... And you know how fast I did that process? Your clients are doing the same thing. You don't know what experience they've had with other realtors. You don't know what they've had. We assume their experience is our experiences. Not even close. How many of you take the time to ask what their experience has been? What has been the best experience? Or what has been an experience that when you really learned how essential it was to have a very competent, talented realtor represent you? When did you learn it? Or when did you have a friend? Because you might find out they got some emotions stored on this level. And they'll make a decision about you. They'll size you up quick. Like that. So I want to offset it. That's what the credibility of Keller Williams, I think, provides. Y'all got so many results. Give it to them. Not to brag, just to know they're not dealing with just the average cat. I'll go on that later. Next time. So, once we get the belief assimilated in here, it now affects us. You got to know, we are like thermostatic control. We are a self-regulating mechanism. Our human body is a self-regulating mechanism. We operate on emotion and tension. That system on the back wall that seems to be a little short right now, you plug in 68 degrees or 70 degrees, it operates electronically. Now when that temperature goes down to say 68, if it's on 70, it'll go down to 68. And when it gets hot, it'll go down to 68. As soon as it gets to 68, it shuts off. The temperature rises and up to 70, it goes past 70 to 72. Sends a message to the system, turns on the air conditioner again, and it lowers it again down to 68. That dead space is what's called a comfort zone. You and I operate like that self-regulating mechanism, but we don't do it on electricity, we do it on emotion and tension. Does that make sense? And as long as you and I are in a normal, usual situation for us, we are free of tension. We free flow. We use our skills. We think clearly. We respond. But anytime we get in a situation where we don't feel, catch the word, feel we belong, we work to get ourselves back in the familiar, usual situation for us. Does that make sense? That is what being out of one's comfort zone is all about. Well, the dial on that system, the dial for you is the self-image. That's the key. So if you want to get more out of you, use this enormous blessings that we have. We've got to raise and elevate that dial. And through imagery and visualization, and through what I'm about to teach you, you can deliberately raise and elevate the level you want to operate by normally, naturally, free-flowingly. Make sense? So if I were to tell one of you, we have a piece of wood this big, or this table right here. Put it on the ground. We don't have it off of that. Put it on the ground, and if I asked any of you, if you stretch it from here to the back of the room, walk across it, I'll give you $1,000. How many of you say you could do it and get that $1,000? Everybody's hand should have been up. Okay, y'all can do it, couldn't you? Y'all can do the other hand on it. You can do it backwards or however you want to do it, right? But let's just go to the two tallest buildings in downtown Fort Worth or Dallas, say 50 stories high, and I get that table down. I am able to extend it from the top of one building to the next. Go up there for a second. Look out at the traffic. Come across. I'll give you $1,000. No, I'll probably have to do it on the cell phone. Come across. I'll give you $1,000. Step off. You don't get the $1,000. How many of you would do it? You would?
I'm not the one that said yes.
$1,000 not worth the risk to me. That table, 50 stories high. You'd probably respond with, "No, I'm not coming." Here's what happens. Anytime you and I perceive danger or perceive a situation that's not familiar, one of the indicators of being out of your comfort zone is your vocal cords lengthen. So you sound a little funny. Yeah, I'm used to this market. I've sold so many houses just like yours. You can say the right words, but you communicate through tone quality and the voice cracking. I really look forward to meeting you today. You ever done that? Another sign that we're out of place is we get a little unstable, so you get a little shaky, right? You lose all the saliva in your mouth, so that tongue starts to get am I right? You start to perspire, your hands get wringing wet. That's why the lie detector works. Electrodes to the surface of the skin, you deviate from the truth, and instantaneous. It picks up the reaction. That's how it works. Your stomach starts secreting more digestive juices necessary, eating away at the lining of the stomach so you feel nauseous. You ever done that when you've been working for 6 months on the sale of a home? It's a big deal. You got a big commission coming, and all of a sudden, it is falling apart. You get that nauseous, upset. That's comfort zone. Not only that, it's like kinking a hose when it comes to recall. You can't even think of solutions. You ever gone in and take a test? You know the answers, but you go to take the test and it's like, you go flat line. As soon as you walk out of the testing situation, oh, why didn't I say this? Or why not put this? Why not write this? When you're out of place, you can't recall. You need to be in your comfort zone when you're in negotiations, don't you? You need to be and replay over and over and over the scenarios successfully, over and over. Hear from others what they've done. All these scenarios over and over so that you deliberately expand and get familiar with the environment you're going into. That brings you into your comfort zone. Does that make sense? So how did you get the comfort zone in the first place? You weren't born with it. You've learned it. So I'll tell you how. You got to know that you and I, we think in words that trigger pictures and images in our mind that bring about emotion and feeling. You got to know that how you get beliefs and attitudes and all that stored on a subconscious level is the way you've been talking and thinking to yourself. So it's been estimated or understand that when you think about an experience over and over and over and over and over, that's what's building the belief. They build on one another to become a belief. And once it becomes a belief, you got a lot of emotion wrapped around that. It's estimated we have 10 to 14, catch this number, 10 to 14 billion neuron cells in our brain. Each one is able to handle 2 to 3 million bits of information each. Think about that. Now, how they get that stuff? I don't know. But that's what we're being told. So, you go through an experience and then you talk about it to you with emotion. That's nothing, because it's actually a lot faster than that, because they tell us we got 60, now it's not 50 to 60, it's 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. That, have you ever made a mistake and say, what's the matter with me? It'd be okay if you stop there, but your subconscious goes on to answer. I'll tell you what's the matter with you. This is what's happening. And you, through selective recall, start remembering everything that's the matter with you. Not once, but over and over and over. You're driving home and you're just hands on the grip on the, oh my gosh, put that music on. And every time I think about it with emotion, guess what's happening? See why you want to tell your kids? Respect authority, yet also be very aware. What if you had an older brother or sister ahead of you that had a teacher, and in math class, the teacher says, I don't expect you to be good in math. I had your brother, and he couldn't add either. Oh. Now, that's just an opinion. It may be true, but it may not be true. But if that kid agrees with it, gives sanction to that feedback, in other words, says, oh, it must be so. After all, they are the teacher. What is the likelihood of the belief being built? I'm no good in math. In fact, teacher even said so. An authority. And to a young person, what's typically an authority?
Someone older.
Not just teachers and adults, but anybody older than them. Or if they have their homework on, or their coloring on the refrigerator, and theirs isn't up there yet. Or if older brother or sisters always make fun of them, you can't draw. Who's ever seen a green man? Come on, you idiot. We think that stuff doesn't get in here. It's in there. Besides that, you don't even stay inside the lines. You sure can't draw. Well, I can tell you now, you get the image of that. You don't go out for art class. You're not creative. You can't dance. It has nothing to do with potential. It has to do with the conditioning. Makes sense? 50 to 60, now 70,000 thoughts a day are going through our mind. How's your self-talk? Because that's what that's called. Self-talk. It's that conversation that's going on in you and me all the time. To the degree it's sarcastic, belittling, what's the matter with me? Ooh, you ever made a mistake and say, how could I be so stupid? What a blown opportunity. Be okay if you stop there, but you don't. Your subconscious goes on to answer it. I'll tell you, be stupid, stupid. They call it the bluebirds, but you knew it was the dumb group in the 4th grade, 5th grade. Remember those reading groups? Red birds, yellow birds, bluebirds. The bluebirds were like the dumb group. I was in there and had to go in front of the class to get to the bluebirds. And the whole time I'm going, yeah, I'm an idiot. Right? Y'all remember that stuff? I'm 52 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. Westview Elementary. Never lost, never forgotten.
That's right.
If I'm not careful, I think I'm not smart and can't read. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. So we got to get our control on this. Sarcasm, teasing, belittling. If you've got it going on, it's a sign of hostility. Get rid of it. You build your own beliefs with your own thoughts. How do you do that? You control that self-talk to be positive and constructive. I don't mean, I'm great, you're great. No, I don't mean that. I mean, you start getting disciplined and aware of how you talk to you. And I want that image up higher, because once I raise the image, how do I act? Consistent with it. So how do you want to go? I don't know. But I know what limits the use of it. It's the image, and what builds it? The self-talk. So that self-talk, we want to start telling ourselves how awesome we are. Control that positivity and the way we get hit with that emotion when we think about how awesome we are. And you raise and elevate, constantly building the belief. Well, I'm not good at it yet. I know. Keep talking that you are. Keep telling yourself that you are. The shift will be made. How many of you have a hard time with compliments? Come on.
Giving or giving?
Receiving. How many of you, when you get a compliment, you'll, oh, shucks, oh, no. I love your hair. I can't get it to go the way I got it cut. I like that outfit. Yeah, I got it on sale. Why do you got to say that? Why do you got to do that? All you got to do is when you get a compliment and you want that part of your image of reality, what do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we have some of us have a false definition of humility. Because a lot of us have been brought up and raised, it's awful, nasty, sinful for you to think well of yourself. Don't you go being a braggart. Get big-headed. Get down where you belong. Where's that? Well, below me. I'm talking esteem now, not image. I'm talking appraisal. Esteem, how you feel of self. So this definition, let me give you a more accurate definition of humility. It's being truthful. And part of humility is if somebody's helped you, or if you've had good teamwork, or if God's put you in a situation that allows you to give credit where it is due. That's part of being humble. Yet, if you've had something to do with it, what's also part of being truthful? Accepting it. In here. Not out here, but in here. You get a compliment, oh, I love your hair. Thank you. And on the inside, look good, I feel good too. Run with it. Kind of wallow in the compliment like a pig in slop, right? Kind of like get all in it. That feeling is being stored here. Does that make sense? Now, I'm telling you, I'm dealing with a daughter right now that has such a terrible body image because of the conditioning and being objectified through our media. Oh my gosh. Guys, I don't know about you. I'm not even aware of it. Heck, I've been doing it. Not even aware of it. Not meaning to, but I got a daughter, the impact on that stuff. Beautiful, gorgeous, incredible. Yet on the inside, you give her a compliment and she'll, oh, shuck you, no way. I hate the way I look. I saw a statistic over 94% of the girls aged 12 to 24 do not like the way they look. This esteem stuff, unfortunately, became a buzzword and everybody poo-pooed it. Now, that doesn't mean you're not accountable. That doesn't mean there are not consequences. That doesn't mean you give everybody a blue ribbon. That isn't healthy either. All right? Because you know what? We do fail. We do have hardship. We do. How do you get back from that? When you have high appraisal, you don't compare yourself that way and lose. Because when they're comparing themselves, by the way, they're measuring how they feel on the inside to the outside of what they see in others. They can't tell what's going on in those other people. They're scared to death. You just don't know it. But if you're playing the comparison game, because you don't feel good about self, you start finding fault with everybody to make yourself feel better. Whenever you and I have low esteem level, we become the most sarcastic, picking, gossipy, belittling person to be around. Have you ever been around somebody like that?
Yep.
I don't know why she thinks she's so good. Let me tell you about her. I don't know why they think they're so good. Look at that company. Aren't they stupid? We run them down because it fools us. If I can show when they're less than me, it makes me feel better. No, really. it's a sign that you don't like, love, respect self. That's something that we've learned, especially with health. It's essential that you and I like, love, and respect self. Make sense?
Yeah.
And you do that by the controlling of the self-talk. So not only are you building image and opinion, but you're also building the feeling of appraisal. The higher the esteem, the bigger the task you'll take on. It's consistent. And you'll go after tasks that are worthy of your time and energy. But when you have a low appraisal, low self-esteem, you'll take a ration and you know what from anybody. Because you don't want to lose the client. You know it's wrong, but you won't do what's right for you. Come on. You ever done that? Okay. So like, my favorite boxer, if y'all like, I'm a boxing fan, was Muhammad Ali. The greatest. He had great self-talk. Oh my gosh, he was the master of it. But now he was always promoting a fight. And he was always setting his opponent up. Because he's always doing these rhymes and getting in their head and always saying things like, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, I'm going to knock the fool out in 3. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. His opponent would go, well, I'll last 4. Set him up. But what he was also doing was taking a $10 million gate, turning it into a $20 million gate, because everybody wanted to go see the fight. I'm going to go see that braggart get beat. Right? Running his mouth off. He was a master. I want you to be like Muhammad Ali, but not out here. In here. And when you do something right, I want that self-talk. I want that Muhammad Ali. Dang right, I am the greatest. Dang right, I am good. The way I handle that client in that situation, man, I am awesome. They are so lucky to have me as a client, as representing them. You get a simple compliment, you say yes by doing it. And what happens, you raise and elevate the image, and once you get the image, what happens to the performance? Automatically, naturally, free-flowingly, without you trying hard to do more, be more confident, to be more productive, to be... Because when you try hard, you work against yourself. Making sense?
Yes.
Okay, so, let me switch. I got you just a minute ago. What's your name again? Fran. Hold your hand up for a second. Watch this. Watch this. Now, what are you doing with a smile on her face? What's she doing? She's smiling. What are you doing?
I'm pushing.
Did you know I was going to push?
What?
Did you know I was going to push?
I had a feeling.
You did? Why'd you push back so quick?
Because I knew what you were going to do.
Yeah. She doesn't like being pushed around.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's an automatic reflex action. Anytime you and I, if you have esteem, you will resist the coercion. What are some of the things you have to do on a daily basis? Give me some what you really have to do.
Lead generate.
Lead generate. What else? Come on. What else do you have to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
Get out of bed.
Eat. Groceries.
Pay your bills.
Bills.
Exercise.
Teeth. Thank goodness. Shower. Make better.
Sleep.
Sleep. Exercise. Quarterly, semi-annually, annually.
Taxes.
Taxes. What else?
Dues.
Dues. Okay. I want you to remember this. There's 2 kinds of motivation. One is liberating. One is debilitating. One is through fear. And I want you to get off of that because it causes stress. It's called restrictive and constructive motivation. Restrictive motivation is better known as fear motivation. And you'll always notice fear motivation because you always have this in the sentence. Or else. My way or else. Shape up or else. Ship out. Listen, you want to get ahead, you want to get along, then you better do what the hell I tell you. You want to use the car, you better do what I tell you, or else you can't go out. Does that make sense? That's fear-based. By the way, when you use fear, you can get some temporary action, but guess what gets assimilated on their mind when we're fearing people into a behavior? They are assimilating that fear, never lost, never forgotten. Tell me your name again, I apologize.
Mike Robbins.
Mike, when you were 6, 8 years of age, what was your address?
Albany, Georgia.
Keep going, more detail. What was the street address?
I have no idea.
Okay. Don't say that, it'll come to you in just a second. Because if I say I have no idea, you shut down. It'll come to me in just a minute. I'll come back to you in just a second. Or phone number when you were 6 to 8 years of age. What was your phone number? Let's do that one. Phone number.
838-6064.
How long has it been since you had that?
4 years.
How long has it been? 40 years.
686-0630,
What do you go? How long has it been?
52 years.
Never lost, never forgot. If I had the time, I could go around the room. I tell you what, I not only have phone numbers I have to recall, addresses, and meaningful events. And it may be 50 years since you thought of it. Never lost, never forgotten. Does that make sense? Guess what? When you fear people, when you've been feared into, you've been grooved to do a certain behavior, you can't be late or else you're going to get in trouble. You remember that when you were a kid? You don't know to keep time? All right, you better not be late again. If you do, you're going to get spanking. Well, you're a kid. You don't even know really what time is. Much less how it works. You just know you're having a great time and it's summer. And I'll be darned. You show up 30 minutes late for dinner. And Dad says, what did I tell you? You can't be late or else. Dave, get your rear end in here. You might get a little... And don't do it again. I'm going to knock you down the stairs. Now, I'm embellishing this a little bit. But you know what? You go out and play again, and I'll be darned, lose track of time. And guess what happens? You come home, as soon as you get home, there's Dad waiting on you. I told you don't be late. And whack! Right across the head, down the stairs you go now. Okay. But the point is, you now have learned what? I can't be late, or now you become an adult. You see a time situation. And I'll be dang, you'll go 90 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. How come? Because I can't be late. I can't be late. What? I don't want to get in trouble. Heck, Dad passed already. Does that make sense? Or maybe he hadn't even passed, but you're an adult. But you still get hit with that. I can't be late or else. Guess what? That's in there. And I'm telling you, in every area of our lives, we've got experiences and we've got the way we've been grooved, or the way that we've been patterned, or the way that we've been conditioned. And sometimes you don't even know it's going on. It's just become a natural part of the way you're living your life. If you're not getting the results, you want to start to reflect. Where have you told yourself you have to do things? There's only 2 have-tos in life. Think of it this way. You want to get rid of stress headaches? How many of you get stress headaches? Okay. Stress and pressure is when you're telling yourself you have to do something that you don't want to do. There's only 2 have-tos. One of them is what? Death and taxes, okay. Well, okay, it's like taxes. I hate it too. I'm willing to take the risk. Here's what happens, though, when I go into the prison systems. And I'm dealing with the inmates. And I'm telling them this principle. And they say, well, that's a bunch of bull. I have to stay here. I say, no, you don't. Get out anytime you want. Hit the fence. Hit the fence? That barbed wire cut me up. Well, don't throw a shirt over it. Well, they'll shoot me. Well, maybe they'll miss. You don't have to be here. You choose to. Now that you're here, choose to why you want to, what you're going to get out of it, right? Same with taxes. You don't have to, but accept the consequences potentially. Does that make sense? Leave the country otherwise. And I don't like, I'm not endorsing taxes. I think it kills us. But I'm saying you have choice, don't we? It's no different than a mom that has an infant telling me, well, I have to change my kid's diaper. And I say, no, you don't. Leave them on. They eventually fall off. Then shut up and change the diaper. You don't have to. You get to. You choose to. That's part of the constructive motivation. You find out why you want to. Why you choose to. The key word there is choose. And this is what I want you aware of. You choose your relationships, you choose your outcomes, you choose the people you associate with. And I want you to know, and if you'll just do it with the sense of looking for good news in people around you, I don't care if you don't know who they are, if you'll give out basically what I'm going to call love, which I mean a higher view, if you'll give it out, it impacts them. But here's what's the catch. As much as it impacts them, guess who it really ultimately impacts? You. When I know I'm looking for the good news in people, and I'm telling them I appreciate it, when I go through a convenience on the outside to get a coffee or whatever, I can't help but talk to them. How you doing? What's going on? What are you working for? I can't help it. You know why? I'm not doing it. I am doing it for them, but guess what I'm really doing it for? Me, because it makes me feel like, I feel good. It's no different than some of those that are on the side of the road at a stoplight wanting money. You know what? They're giving you an opportunity to get a good hit. Give them a quarter for that hit. I feel good. Give them that quarter. And I'm not endorsing that they do that. I'm just saying you're choosing to deliberately, consciously find out why you choose to want it, get the hit in a positive manner. So, die is one that unfortunately, so right now in this universe, is something that it seems does take place. Okay? And by the way, you don't really die. You know, that's one of the awesome insights that I've been learning. You don't. This is, when we have more time, I'll get into some more stuff to validate what I'm telling you. But even when others have passed, they're not gone. They're not gone. And if you've ever had a near-death experience, it's amazing. And it changes the way you view things. And I want to encourage you to start appreciating. I sit here and I'm getting these hits. You didn't know I was doing that, but I'm looking at the sunlight hit the green leaves. And I'm just looking at and appreciating just the brilliance of what's been created. Now I'm doing it because those are triggers for me. Every time I see a shadow with a light, for me, that's God. Everything has God in it. Everything. People say, oh, I need God in the light. No, God is already in you. You wouldn't be here. But acknowledging that. It's amazing that hit you get. And that's what I want you to be after. And you'll get it when you realize you're choosing life. You're choosing solutions. You're choosing patience. You want to know what's not choosing life? Is when you complain, when you judge, when you find fault, when you're trying to prove everybody is wrong and you're right. That's not choosing from a higher view. Does that make sense? Easier said than done until you start getting real good at it and practicing this, is not to choose for your kids what's best for them. Educate them. Let them discuss it. It's their circus. Don't be their monkey. I've had a hard time learning that. Okay? But you want to guide. You want to save them the pain. Right? We justify all of it. Me too. Let them learn and choose. And I don't take that emotional anger. I don't get frustrated with them as much. That's what it was part of killing me with the cancer. And I'm learning to shift that. That kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
So here we are. We had a camp, co-educational, meaning we had boys and girls up to 16 years of age, and once a week we'd have these overnights. So it was a day camp, about 150 or 200 campers, and once a week on Thursday we would have an overnight. And we would stay out at the camp. Boys sleep in one area, the girls would sleep in another. And if the boys saw the value of being in there, the personal pain value of being in there where the girls were, they became the most innovative, creative. They'd slither underneath the door. They'd go through cracks in walls. You become a genius of getting yourself into any place you wanted to be in. Does that make sense? Do you remember in high school if there was somebody you'd like, you'd somehow creatively get in that environment? I didn't know you'd go here. Like, heck, you didn't. Well, you go home this way? I'll be darned. Isn't that amazing how genius you become to get yourself in a situation that you choose to want to be in? That's the way I want you to view your aspirations. That's the way I want you to see your family. That's the way I want you to see dealing with clients that are in chaos in themselves. Look, you're being chaotic in response to their chaos doesn't overtake that chaos. You complain about it to others, come back in here and tell everybody how crazy they are. It does not help this situation. You're adding fuel to the fire. Make sense? So you want to see things on want to, choose to, like it, love it, my idea basis. You don't have to. You figure out why you want to or accept the consequences. It's empowering to own up. You feel good about it. I know I don't want to go do it. I'll suffer the consequences. Okay. High five, butt slap you. Way to go. You'll feel good about it. Does that make sense? And the key is to feel good about it. In here, you eliminate the stress. Stress occurs in you and I when we feel like we have to do something. And your subconscious becomes a creative genius to get you out of the situation. And if one idea doesn't get you out of the situation, they'll give you 10. 10 doesn't get you out of it, you'll create 100. If you think you have to go on a diet, your subconscious says, oh no, you don't, watch. I'll get you out of this one. And you'll conveniently have company over 4 or 5 times a week. How can I go on a diet? You got all this company. Can't not eat. And the whole view about a diet is off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. And it's the same with whether you're networking or if you're prospecting or if you're going to training. Do y'all get the opportunity to bring people in constantly? And do we sometimes avoid it and not seize those opportunities? In areas where you're procrastinating, I don't care if it's fixing the garage or going to training, I'm telling you now, it's because you're probably saying, I have to. And your subconscious is now going to work against you. See, it doesn't matter if somebody else is telling you you have to, do you resist the coercion? It works the same way when you tell you, I have to. Your subconscious, no, you don't. So I don't want any more have tos anymore. Eliminate it from the vocabulary. By the way, every time you say I have to, you're actually lowering the esteem level. If you carry that out linguistically, you're really saying I would if I could, but I'm not my own person. Now think about that. I would if I could, but I'm not my own person. When you say I have to. Well, let's go to lunch. So I can't have to go to work. No, you don't have to. It's a better way to respond. Be aware of it. Listen, I'd like to, but I got some previous commitments. Let's do it on this day at this time. And if I don't want to go to lunch with you, say, listen, it's not convenient for me right now. Be willing to lose the relationship. I'm not encouraging that. It's amazing, though, if I know I'm going to go to lunch, and I'm going to, you know what, I'm just going to love on them. You know why I'm going to love on them? I get the hit! You've heard it before. The whole, you put that out, you get it back tenfold. That's the value. Okay. So, what she wanted me to talk about, there's been some research. And Cleve Baxter, you ever heard of him? He was talking about, he wanted to see how long it takes for when you put water in the soil, get photosynthesis out to the leaf. And he was one of those that's the standard barrier on understanding how to administer the lie detector test. He did it for the CIA, he did it for DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency. He set the standard on how you administer and interrogate using a system of gathering feedback. Like those electrodes I was talking about. Okay, so he's doing this study. He has attached to a plant. And he wanted to see how long it takes. He's measuring that. He accidentally got one of the leaves into a cup of coffee that was cold, but it went into the cup of coffee when he was moving things around, and there was a slight tick. And he thought, whoa, that was cold. I wonder what would happen if I burn the match. I mean, if I burn with a match the plant. All of a sudden, that thing went cold. So he went at it with the match, like he's pretending he was going to burn it and strike it. On the 4th time, it didn't react. Now, I'm giving you the short version only because of time. What he learned is cells can pick up intention. Can't be. So what happens? Now remember, scientists, he's a whack job. He's an idiot. So here he is. He starts doing another study. He's doing a class. Got these students. They pick a student to go in there and they're going to murder this plant. They got 2 plants. Murder one of them. In other words, he goes in there and rips it up. Tears off the leaves, everything. Doesn't touch the other plant. Rips it up, shreds it, murders it. Leaves the room. They start coming in. There's like 24 students in this class. 11 students before him, nothing registers. They took electrodes to the plant that was still in there that didn't get touched. Nothing happens. As soon as the guy that did that walks in the room, wow. Look it up. In Canada now, in certain murder cases, if there's plants in the room, they will measure the plants in that person in the court of law in Canada. That's how significant. Now, I'm not giving you the depth of it. There's books about it. In fact, here's one of them right here. Secret Life of Cells. Check it out. You want to know why prayer even works? Not just spiritually, blind faith. You want to see the physiological response. Secret Life of Cells is this one. This is Cleve Baxter. It goes to the human. Now we're going to measure human cells. That was a single cell plant. Now we're going to humans. One of the ones that got my attention big time. Took a lady, took her saliva, put it in the test tube. Attached electrodes in the test tube. Then he interrogates, he diagnoses, she's attached. Other room. The test tube with the saliva, the girl's cells. Every emotion that would stimulate in the other room with the girl was picked up by her cells that are in a test tube in the other room. Now follow what I'm saying. The cells. He's not measuring her. He's measuring the cells. What this research is showing is that your cells are picking up. They're communicating. We really are connected. Okay? There's a physiological response to what you're saying, but here's the catch. You can't fool it. It knows intention. Our cells respond on our health. That's why it's so essential. That's optimism. Optimists will recover from cancer 6 times as quick. Right? Because they handle the setback. They interpret what's going on. Their version is different than a pessimist's. This doom and gloom. It ain't it awful. You follow me? It's more than just being Pollyanna. It isn't Pollyanna. But your cells, now all this research, that's why this guy's being held in such high esteem now. Now he's brilliant. Before he was a whack job. Why don't y'all be whack jobs in your business? She's always bragging. She's saying, Daddy, you can't believe how talented it's getting in here. You just can't believe it. 2 billion is really, that's really not going after it all. Y'all have the opportunity. Now some of you can neglect what I just said and you can, yeah, right. What would happen if you started thinking, not that you're not, but if we really just put the pedal to the metal on this? What if our intentions were about appreciating what we have? What if when I say appreciation, I'm really trying to say love. It's just I don't like using that word because everybody kind of poo-poo it. Oh, you got to be in a relationship to love them. No. Just appreciate the fact that you're alive. Appreciate what is the opportunities. Even appreciating the challenges. My cancer, I quit hating it. I'm not a victim of it. I love it. You don't know what it's opened me up to. It's a blessing. I thank them. Now I tell them it's time for them to go on. White blood cells, time for y'all to get busy. Just get after them, do your thing. And boy, I'm healed already. I just want y'all to do y'all's thing. But I can't just fool it. I got to take the time to imagine that. And one easy way to do it is you control your breathing. I don't want to confuse you with meditation and all that, but that's really all it is. Control breathing. And then deliberately imagining things with your imagination. Take it in. Let God do His work. His work. All you do is roll back the eyes just a little bit slight. And then come forward. Get that in. When I feel the tingle in my feet, in my hands, I do this all day. It's kind of like a Kegel. And you can feel the tingle in your hands, in your feet. That's what you stir. It's a positive hit. I'm doing it right now. It's awesome.
Which one?
Both. Keeps you active and able. And it also stimulates the positive emotion that you want. That's the point. And I can get that deliberately. And before you go into a situation with clients or a crisis with an 8th grader, I want to get hit full of that highest level of emotion. Let's call it a vibration. I can start talking like that to you, right? You know I'm hesitant until I get more into that. Yeah, I can tell you all the people that we've been coaching. And now you're starting to hear this conversation, everybody. We've been talking for years. We just had to do it, but everybody didn't hear it because everybody thinks you're a whack job. Then you're sacrilegious. No, it's more spiritual than you even know. That's the beauty. This isn't belief, it's knowing. Does that make sense? So, now they test this lady's cell response to her emotion, show her pictures of her boyfriend. Boom, in the other room, the cells pick it up. Guys, they would show other kind of magazines. They do the same stuff. They pick it up, the other room, their cells. They're going to see how far away can you be and still pick it up. So they mic her up. They're in a car, in a van, filming this. They're in downtown Chicago in a rough area. The transit's coming up to her. You have money? No, I don't. He grabs her by the arm. Yeah, you do, you have to. There's about 7 or 8 situations like that. Now, the video timestamps it. They go back tens and tens of miles away from the laboratory. Guess what? The cells picked it up. Timestamp. Within 20 seconds. Within 20 seconds. Never more. Did y'all fathom what I just said? How's the self-talk around you? How's it in your home? How do you talk to you when things don't go the way you want them to go? How do you talk to you? How do you talk to you when you've had tremendous loss? Tremendous loss is tremendous loss, but how do you talk to you? How do you talk to you when you have success? How do you talk to others when they have success? Your cells are communicating. You ever gone into a room and you feel the heaviness? They're communicating. You know why it feels so good to come around y'all? Because for the most part, y'all are communicating. Y'all are looking for good news in each other. At least the critical mass. And it reflects that. I want to encourage you to put the pedal to the metal. You're not looking through the world through rose-colored glasses. Well, you know what? That may not be so bad either. There's now science that validates this physiologically. Isn't that awesome? Now, there's more to it, but I want y'all to be deviants. I think that was the point of what I wanted to say today. Positive deviants. And that's being clear about what your purpose, why you're on earth. Why do you think you're on earth? You've heard this stuff before. Be clear on what you're going to do while you're here in this time and space. What are you going to do? And make it about others. Because when you look to do good beyond self, and you're not driven by your ego, you're not driven by your ranking in sales, when you're not driven by, I'm not saying don't do those things, I just imagine those are fun. But get the joy and ecstasy out of being and appreciate the fact, hey, it's a miracle every time you inhale and exhale. It's a miracle. And if I just consciously be aware of it, and then I start looking for good news in others, watch what happens to your world. Watch how your conversations shift. And when a crisis occurs, it's a crisis. How do we want to handle it? You can control that. And you watch how the stress goes away. Watch how your health improves. Watch how, okay, I'm going to use that word again. Watch how love works whatever's going on out. Watch how just acknowledging that and then living by it allows whatever's causing the crisis to work itself out. Your daughter is beautiful and capable. Instead of trying to show her, no, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're so smart, you got all, everybody be lucky to have, instead of trying to conflict with her, agree with her. Say, I understand how you've done that before. I've done it before too. And then show her little examples. What kind of grades did you get? I'm just curious.
Me or her?
Her.
She's all A's.
She was all A's. That's my point. I'm wanting her to recognize, you know what? You can't be all A's and be an idiot. Does that make sense? Does everybody get all A's? No. Not that they can't, but no. You want to point out little examples. No different than with my son. I'm sitting there throwing with my son when he's learning how to play catch. He couldn't catch, it seemed like. And he's always saying, I can't catch, I can't catch.
Just like his daddy.
Just like your daddy. I could just throw. I just couldn't take snaps. So, drop it. He kept saying, I suck, I can't catch. So instead, I used to go, that's not true. Quit talking like that. That's not true. You can catch. So I started setting up the frequency of success. So I did throw it where it's a little easier to catch. So he caught like 2 or 3 in a row. And I said, look what you can do. He didn't go, yeah, I can catch. He goes, you're throwing it so it'll go in my glove. I said, no. And I repeated the success. Now I'm starting to pick it up a little more. He's catching it. I said, hey, you've caught 7 or 8 of them in a row. I think you can catch. He goes, yeah. He starts coming on. My oldest, Alex, when she was a little kid, wouldn't get in the boat. We had one of those little small up in Seattle on Lake Washington. Would not get in the boat. Instead of getting on her, what do you mean you're not going to get in the boat? Put her in life. This is fun. It's good for you. You'll love it. Scare her into it, whatever. Now I said, I don't blame you. Now, I didn't do this. I kind of made it up. I'm not saying lie, but I did embellish. And I said, I understand why you're scared. I was scared too before. I fell off in the water. But you know, then I realized I had that life vest on. I can't go down. I don't blame you. You know what? I'll come with you. I'll hold your hand as we get in it. You see my point? I'm going to quit trying to have them be negative, be positive. Get on their same level and then gradually bring them up. Does that make sense? It'll help. Okay? The challenge is, and we all know it, the insight is she's got to see self. Yeah. So use yourself as an example as you're teaching some principles. Don't try to fix
tells
it.
me you're too optimistic, you're just too much for me.
That's okay. And I like it like that. If you ever want to, if that seems of value to you one of these days, let's talk about how you can do that too. And then don't try to force it. Does that make sense what I'm doing there? Okay.
Thank you.
Leslie, only because of time. I got a couple things on this next one that I want to go into, but because of time, I don't want to open that date. Okay? Because it deserves a longer conversation. Can I respond to you? Can y'all ask me a couple questions? We got 10 minutes.
That'd be great.
Open the gate.
Well, no, it does deserve it, and I don't want y'all to think I'm a quack too bad.
It's a whack job.
So,
You're a
yeah,
good quack,
just-
though.
I'm a good quack.
You're a good quack.
Purpose. Know why you're doing what you're doing here on earth. Self-motivated, self-managed, in other words, efficacious. Deviant, not going along with what everybody else is going along in some cases. Okay? And know that it's okay if you fail.